This is a super unique bed setup that we're really stoked on. Boom, your bed's deployed. So if I push right here, nothing happens and it doesn't unlatch. But if I push right here, it unlatches and I can open the drawer. It's pretty sweet. Hey, this is Sid here with Campo Vans. We're here testing out / giving you guys a tour of this new 4x4 2019 Sprinter. So obviously from the outside, this thing looks super gnarly. And it is. I mean, it's a 2019 4x4 Sprinter, but our client kind of wanted to take it up to that next level of capability and of aesthetic. We had to go with the aluminous front bumper and worn winch. This combo is unreal. You've got great recovery points if you're stuck in a ditch, and the winch also provides obviously one of the best recovery tools you could ask for getting out of basically any sticky situation. There's two Hella fog lamps. These are actually attached to the factory fog lamp positions. So as you're turning, when your headlights are on, if you're turning right, the right one illuminates. If you're turning left, the left one illuminates. Pretty sweet feature there. Looking at the top, it is an aluminous rack. It's the touring style with the corrugated metal on it, so you can walk up there. We've also got a black oak LED light bar. We haven't peeled that blue sticker off yet. We're gonna let the client do that. Sort of as like an iPhone reveal, kind of fun experience. Up top, we've obviously got the Fiamma F45S awning. This thing's perfect for providing a ton of shade when you're camping. It also has little stakes, so you can mount it to the ground, wind won't blow it away, or you can mount it to the sides of the van right here. Obviously you need a full-size spare when you upgrade your wheels and tires, so we've mounted the full-size spare on the Owlvan's rear tire rack. And the client also opted for Madras rims and BFG KO2s to give them that extra step of off-road ability. This van looks super gnarly from the outside, but what's really cool is the aesthetic inside is so different. Check it out. Our client originally came to us with this crazy idea of doing a Murphy bed in their van. This is a super unique bed setup that we're really stoked on. Our founder is actually thinking about doing this in his own van because of how much he loved the idea. Not only is your bed concealed in this cabinet, but you also have all of this space for storage. You have all of this space for storage. And look at this massive countertop. Once we pull up the folding leaf here, you've got so much room. This is practically as much room as I have in my apartment. So the client is definitely excited about both the huge amount of counter space that we were able to give them and the bed that completely stows up and out of the way. Now, before I show you how that all works, I just want to kind of cover some of the details of the cabinetry in here, the aesthetic that the client went with, and all that. So the keen eye will notice this setup is actually very similar to our standard Campo build. We've got the table that packs in right here next to the Isotherm 130, and we've got the folding seat that totally comes down and folds up so that you can have 4 people driving in here or 4 people sitting comfortably around a dining table. This dining table actually pulls out and mounts in the wall. And this track is actually, it's adjustable, so you can pull the table closer to you if you want to. You can lift it up, push it further away. We love this setup because it means that the passengers who are sitting back here can have something to put their computer on or their book on while they're sitting and driving. Or you can swivel the 2 front seats around and you can very comfortably sit 4 people for a meal. Boom. Just like that, you've got plenty of living space to move around if you don't need that extra seating and table. Before I touch on the unique cabinet hardware, I just want to touch on the Isotherm Cruise 130 real quick. This fridge is amazing. It's very spacious. I'd call it a little bit more than like a dorm room fridge. But if you think about how long a college student can last from a dorm room fridge, I mean, that's like months of storage space. Next, let's talk about the cabinet hardware. There looks to be no positive latching hardware on any of the doors and drawers, which gives a super clean aesthetic. It's great that when you're walking by, especially in this walking space, you're not gonna hook your shorts on anything or your jacket on anything. The hardware that we're using in here is actually just a small clasp latch that locks into this small plastic ball. When the hardware is all locked, Nothing moves around. We even tested this off-road just to make sure that it works with our client's approval, of course. And everything holds very strong. It's actually great hardware. The only trick is you just have to put the right amount of pressure in the right spot in order to open the doors or drawers. So if I push right here, nothing happens and it doesn't unlatch. But if I push right here, it unlatches and I can open the drawer. It's pretty sweet. Every drawer and door in the Galley cabinet is set up that way. Here, this guy opens and reveals storage. Great storage for a trash can and some other knickknacks up in here. That latches positively. And then same goes for these doors as well. Super simple, but we really like that you don't have to have exterior latches to kind of throw off the really clean aesthetic. I just want to give you guys a sense of how much storage this van actually has, so I'm going to open every single cupboard, nook and cranny. Look how much space there is to store stuff in this van. Last thing I want to show you guys before we jump into the bed, all the overhead storage as well. The storage in here is infinite. It's perfect for what these guys want to do because they're going to be living in this thing for months at a time while they're fly fishing, while they're mountain biking and doing all that fun stuff. We've got the systems cab set up in here with a Renogy Rover solar charge controller, some breakers, our main fuse box, and all the gear for the hot water and hot air system, along with the inverter switch. So all of those system controls are kind of tucked up in here, so it's easily accessible. I just want to touch on this sink really quick because it's such a center point of the whole build, and it really just kind of sets off the whole aesthetic in here. Our client was absolutely stoked to have a farmhouse sink. Originally, we thought that it was going to take up way too much counter space, but because they did this Murphy bed setup, it actually fits really well, and doing dishes in here is going to be so easy. All you have to do is just turn on your water pump, and then look how much space you have to do dishes. You could wash your dog or small child in this thing. You could shower in this thing if you wanted to. I honestly think it's a really fun idea, especially if you have a lot of counter space to spare. Why not throw something fun and different in your van just to spice it up a little bit? Along with the spice, we've got some unreal wallpaper. The client sent us the wallpaper from Etsy. She saw it on there and really, really loved just the whole look of it. And at first, again, we were kind of questioning whether it was actually going to fit or not, but with the whole look and layout of everything, it works really well. It adds this like warm, homey feel that's generally different and not seen in a lot of van builds. Now for the bed. So the whole bed system is actually really easy to deploy, and that was kind of a big thing for the client, was they didn't want this Murphy bed to be really complicated. So we came up with a design that's really easy. You simply pull two pins out on either side that help keep the bed in place when you're off-roading. It actually doesn't need these pins, but they're kind of a precaution just in case, for whatever reason, this piece might flop down. Now we have two gas struts that assist in both the lowering and the raising of the bed. It's not strenuous or anything like that. And then the mattress pulls out. Boom, your bed's deployed. I mean, that's crazy simple. A sheet fits over that just fine. And then inside the flares on this side, you can actually fit pillows and an extra sheet if you want to. Obviously, we've got an Arctic turn window here. This is just a great feature because it awnings open, so you can get fresh air right at your head. Wow, that's amazing. I'm feeling it right now. It feels good. We've also got another C.R. Lawrence venting window on this side. This whole bed area is just so cozy. The layout and the design is just really fun and unique. So to touch on a couple last things, our clients love fishing, so we've equipped their van with this spare tire storage area. It's a nice big storage area underneath that you can put your waders in or your wet boots, that sort of thing. Jumping into the systems, we have a 15-gallon water tank in here, and then part of the Rixson hot water and hot air components are in this side. This is primarily just system storage area. But one of the features that's really sweet about this van's water system in particular, we've installed a 22-gallon water tank underneath the van with a pump that actually pumps water up into this tank so that you can always top off this tank and use it for your sink, in your shower, and that sort of thing. But you just simply press this switch here and it starts to fill up this tank with fresh water. So on the back of this cabinet, We've got a quick release shower with hot and cold water adjustments. We've also got the fill port for this 15-gallon tank, and then the 22-gallon tank has another fill port underneath. Through here, you can also see the water level. So while you're showering, you know how much water you're using. It just helps you gauge how much water so you can try to conserve if you're spending lots of time off grid. Now, if you want to get your shower on, you just easily plug this guy into the quick release, open up the hot water and or hot and cold water, depending on where you are, or just cold water valve, and blast away. When you're done, you just close up the valves, empty out the water from the hose, and then you can stow this just right back in the door storage here. This is a great location to have the Fiamma awning extender. This just helps extend and retract the awning. And we've also added a 12-volt plug here, and this is so if you're filling up a raft or if you want to have some sort of auxiliary fridge back here, you can have a plug right at the back of the cabinet. It's nice and concealed, and it is just kind of a utility 12-volt. We like having that there though. There's a lot of uses. So now we'll jump up on the roof. I'll show you guys the solar and the roof rack. So as you can see, this roof rack is just so great. You can deploy some chairs up here and have a drink and look at the view. It also houses the 200 watts of Renogy solar panels that we've given them. These are the more efficient ones. So the panels are slightly smaller in dimension, and that just gives you more space to use up here on the roof rack. Overall, we absolutely love how this van came out. It's so cool that it's this gnarly looking, super off-roady van on the outside, and then on the inside it has this designer home, super clean, really well trimmed out feel. Our client got exactly what they wanted. They're super stoked for it to get shipped out to them in a couple days. We're so excited for them to get it, and it's just gonna be a rad rig to spend a lot of time in. Hope you guys got some good ideas from it, and feel free to steal them all. See ya.